Mercury in retrograde in Scorpio. Interesting times, fun times. So let's get into it. Mercury retrograde. Firstly, Mercury is your planet of basically your communication, your travel, thoughts, information, because that's where we get a lot of our information from, is the ideas that we think about, all of those processes. So that's what Mercury is really responsible for. So information, messages, travel, technology, because technology is how we basically share information. So all of those things. And Mercury in retrograde in Scorpio, which actually went into like retrograde on the 31st of October and it ends on the 22nd of November. But the pre-shadow period started on October 11th and basically will end December 7th. During this time, you can feel a lot of things because Scorpio is a feeling zodiac. It's water. So you're going to feel deep things, very, very deep. So yeah, that's what you can expect during this time, is to really, really get in touch with your feelings deeply. So if you were born during a Mercury retrograde, basically you experience this throughout your life, the Mercury retrograde of the miscommunication and the technology stuff. So you kind of deal with it a lot better because you go through it throughout life. That's your experience of it. And if you were born with your Mercury in Scorpio, then this also affects you. However, know that Scorpio is placed throughout our chart. Everyone's chart has it somewhere. And Mercury is basically ruled by, Gemini and Virgo. So they also really experience retrograde periods to be very, very difficult as well, in the sense that it challenges them when this happens. So when Mercury goes into retrograde, is to take you into your soul. And Scorpio, being an emotional zodiac related to water, it takes you deeper within your soul. Very deep. It's a profound experience. It takes you into your childhood traumas, the deep pains of past patterns, conditionings, experiences that are painful, all of how basically you've been treating yourself. So you'll learn like experiences through your parents. However, now you're getting the chance during this transit to basically undo some of that conditioning. So you'll experience conflict with people. Yeah, communication will be an issue because the planet's in retrograde. So your communication will be off, brain fog. So you might be hearing something else that someone else is saying to you. You won't be actually hearing what they're actually saying to you, a misunderstanding. Appointments get delayed. Debit orders go off at the wrong time, or not the amount they're supposed to, stuff like that. Technology, Wi-Fi out, gates faulty, appliances breaking down. All of that is Mercury retrograde. Travel plans, movement, obviously getting from A to B, taking longer than you should, not reaching when you're supposed to actually make the time for your departure flight, or the flight gets delayed. All of those things are related to Mercury retrograde. So when Mercury is in retrograde, those are the natural things that we experience. Delays in information as well. So if you're signing a contract, be it a work contract, a business contract, it's not the ideal time to do it in Mercury retrograde. Somehow, what you thought it would be or what you're actually getting, you only discover after the retrograde, it's not what you thought it was. So even jobs that you start in during a Mercury retrograde, it's like, this job seems ideal. And then at the end of the Mercury retrograde or during the Mercury retrograde, it doesn't seem as ideal as it's was said to you. So that's what we experience during Mercury retrograde, is misinformation. But this misinformation is to take us deeper into our soul, to understand what we truly want and what we truly feel and what we truly need. So when Mercury is in retrograde, all those mishaps we can expect. But now Mercury is in retrograde in Scorpio. And as we all know, Scorpio is the sign of death and transformation. It's a beautiful sign. I mean, I love Scorpio because of that. It like gets to the heart of a situation, you know, really to the heart of it. Obviously, death and transformation, it's painful. Yeah. During a Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, you can experience deceit, lies, heartache, all of that. Because Scorpio is like the sign literally to lift the veil and to show you the truth. So how do you find the truth if you're not, coming face to face with the deception, if that makes any sense? So you'll experience, the deception in order to get the exposure of the truth. And that's what is powerful about the Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. It really is there to, get into our souls, get into the parts of us that are unhealed, to relearn or reawaken to new ways of understanding of ourselves. And yes, exes do have a strong chance of coming back during a Mercury retrograde. Why? Because we're going through releasing old past patterns. How do we do that? By being presented with something of the past in a Mercury retrograde to revisit it, to redo it, to see if previously did we learn what we were supposed to learn? Did we awaken? Did we change? Did we evolve? Did we transform? So that's the importance of Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. This will be affecting everyone, whether you are a Scorpio or whether you have Mercury in Scorpio, whether you're a Virgo or a Gemini. However, it's like when you actually have Mercury in Scorpio in your actual natal chart, you will be experiencing this also on a very deep and profound level, because throughout your life, you're going to have to either people will expose you in a sense where they'll say things about you which you might even feel are untrue, and then you will have to expose them. It's all about the truth. Or when someone is talking to you about something trivial, you want to get right into the heart of the matter. And that's the advantage of Scorpio. Scorpio wants you to open up. Scorpio wants you to open up to your deepest pain, to your deepest fears, to all the things that are holding you back. Why? So you can transform. And that's the actual death. The death is the death of lies to oneself, lies about how you actually feel or what you've been dealing with before, which you thought was in a certain way, but now you're waking up to the truth of it. So even perception in a way is, how do I say to you, shedding more light on it, which is more truth. Because if we perceive something to a certain extent, and then something happens in our life where we start perceiving it in a deeper way, we are being awoken to more truth. And that's what the whole process of Mercury in Scorpio is about. It's about really uncovering and going deep with the things that we say to ourselves that are untrue, and things that other people say to us that are untrue, and actually shedding more light on it and becoming more self-aware through our soul. So why do all these mishaps happen in Mercury retrograde? It's so frustrating, and people get so angry. They really get so angry when all of these things happen. And the truth, the divine truth of the matter is for you to connect more to your soul. So how do we get you to connect more to your soul? By disconnecting you from everything else. Yes, to the internet, to everything around you, so that you can actually go within. So this is a very reflective time. It's a time to actually reflect. It's a time to actually reflect on who you are, on the things you wish to release. I mean, Mercury retrograde is a great time. Great time to cleanse one's home, get rid of the things you don't want in your home and space, even cleanse out relationships. Cleansing out, that's what it's all about. Endings in order for transformation to occur. And just embracing that process. I know Scorpio can be a very deep and powerful sign in that whole cleanse process, in that whole getting to the heart and truth of the matter. I mean, it's only through pain and suffering do we actually awaken to wisdom and empowerment within us. It's actually then do we realize, no, I think I need to set a stronger boundary here. and get clear about what we want and what we truly want from our inner selves and higher selves, because we are living our lives every single day. So we got to be really authentic and honest with ourselves about how we carry ourselves going forward and making those changes in our lives for us and for those around us too. Because when we are happy, when we're feeling more authentic, it's easy to love and give love and receive love. So that's the process of Mercury and Scorpio. It's a deep emotional time. It takes you to the parts of yourself that where you have a pattern of rejection and feel rejected, and rejection comes up now and you have to deal with it, or heartache comes up now and you have to deal with it and actually like heal from within and actually close chapters to situations basically that need to be closed. They do for you. Those boundaries need to be set for you. So that being said, we're currently in Mercury retrograde. Start on the 31st and it'll end on the 22nd of November. But the pre-shadow period started on the 11th of October and ends on the 7th of December. So during those times and those transition moments, try to stay out of conflict and too much drama. If any, things such as deceit come to light at this moment, or arguments, how someone truly feels, because all of a sudden people be saying how they really feel now. It's like, these are my feelings and I'm so angry and frustrated because you did this in the past. Yeah, people like to bring up the past in Mercury retrograde, and you have to confront those things. Try to understand it and actually use it in a way to transform yourself. That's the key. That's the powerful key. Transformation of self. So now we're in the Mercury retrograde. Crystals to use. I have a crystal selenite. Selenite is an excellent crystal to use for Mercury retrograde. Why? Because it cleanses the aura. That's why. And during times like this, we tend to take on a lot of feelings that others, reflect back on us, whether it's they angry or frustrated. We tend to take it back on ourselves. So cleanse your aura. Black tourmaline to stay protected and grounded during this time. Grounding is so important during Mercury retrograde with all the mental fog, because you'll actually literally feel like you need to take a nap. You need to just lie down for a minute. You feel drained by this energy because it's working on your soul. So when the energies are actually working on your soul, you actually need to ground more. So black tourmaline, and also to protect your energy from people who tend to now want to come at you during this time. Rose quartz as well. Rose quartz is a beautiful crystal as well. This one, you can see it here, rose quartz. It helps with unconditional love. So love for self and also forgiveness, which we tend to need to do a lot of during Mercury retrograde, because basically, you need to love that person to understand they're coming from that place, and you need to forgive yourself if you've put yourself in a situation where you feel taken advantage of. And this is an aquamarine pendant. So this is good for basically like, I know the lighting isn't the best because I'm doing this video at night, but aquamarine, it's very good for basically calming yourself, actually becoming more self-aware. And also aquamarine is very good for connecting to our deepest emotions. So becoming self-aware and releasing those anxieties about what we have within ourselves, so our fears and doubts and insecurities. Turquoise. Turquoise is good during a Mercury retrograde because it helps you to trust yourself. It helps you to use your own discernment when it comes to making decisions and moving forward, and actually being aware of what you want to release. So it's a good crystal for trust, communication as well, and how you communicate. Then also smoky quartz, another grounding crystal. The smoky quartz is very good as well for grounding, for protection of one's energy, It's very good when we're actually feeling robbed from our energy, like we feel like someone literally stole from us. This is the best crystal for that, your smoky quartz. When you feel robbed, either financially, emotionally, spiritually, like I just given you my everything and you took it for granted and now I feel robbed, use your smoky quartz. It protects your energy in that way. And then the last crystal I have is chrysocolla. So your chrysocolla is good for your emotional, like healing you emotionally, your emotional heartache. It's very calming and soothing, but it connects you also to the earth, chrysocolla. So it's like giving you that nurturing feeling, that feeling of being nurtured almost when you're feeling isolated. And Mercury retrograde can make us feel that way, because making plans during Mercury retrograde, all of a sudden, as we're coming towards the end of the Mercury retrograde, like you made a plan, like, let us start dating now. And then next thing, the end of the Mercury retrograde, this person isn't the way, you thought they were. Because remember, Mercury is affecting the way we think about things. And towards the end of the Mercury retrograde, you'll be actually second guessing them. So that is why you need to use crystals like your chrysocolla to help you with that emotional kind of healing and to be more aware of the choices that you're making and letting go as well. It's now, I would say, if you're going to make any plans, any purchases, any big decisions, you should make it at the end of the retrograde. Wait for this period to move. It's a time to go within. It's not time to actually work externally outside of yourself. It's more within yourself that you actually need to connect to. So that would be the best time to actually, make those decisions after Mercury retrograde, because then you have less of this, brain fog and miscommunication. Because even the way we're communicating internally at this time, can feel kind of out of alignment. Because, like I said, you might be here, like someone will say something to you and you'll be like, what did they say? Did I hear them correctly? Or you might be finding it difficult to hear them, or you might hear the wrong thing because of misinformation during a retrograde. So wait, just have a little bit of patience. And this video goes out to Pitchfork Patty on Instagram. Thank you so much for messaging me tonight, because it inspired me to discuss Mercury retrograde in Scorpio and the transformation and healing and actually the truth, because that's what Mercury in Scorpio is about. It's about the truth. It really is. People born with Mercury retrograde in Scorpio tend to have to come up with a lot of untruths to basically awaken to deeper truths about themselves and about others. That's the whole purpose of it. Sending you lots of love.